Time to get cultural.
Yes, like I said, we're going to class this place up a little bit.
Why don't you explain how all of this began?
Yeah, Rockford Symphony Orchestra reached out to me and said they know that I'm percussionist back in the day, and they've got a cool concert coming up this weekend featuring a rare percussion instrument we're going to talk about here in a second. And she also said, and the guest conductor is going to be in town. And I forgot the wording she said exactly, but I think
it was, we don't want to pay to put him up. Can he stay at the station?
I think that might have been it.
You guys have a couch that he can sleep on.
Yeah, we need someplace to stash this guy for a little bit. And also said very personable. And that's turned out to be a little bit true here in the first couple minutes.
Yeah, he seems okay.
He seems all right. He's the fifth conductor coming through to kind of audition for the head job, and he's joining us right now. Alastair Willis, how you doing?
Good morning, Joe and Ryan.
Nice to meet you. How's everything going?
Well, that couch, was pretty lumpy. Can I sleep on something a little more comfy tonight?
We're getting a cot. We've requisitioned a cot.
I've got a dog bed in my office. You can curl up on.
Max doesn't want to give that up, though.
No, he won't.
Max doesn't want to give that up.
He won't.
Alastair, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, my gosh. It's such a pleasure to be here. You have a fantastic orchestra. The Rockford Symphony Orchestra. What a pleasure. We've had 2 rehearsals so far. We've got a great program coming up. And I am just thrilled to be here. I was, despite the accent, I was born in Acton, Massachusetts, moved to Russia age 5. My dad was a journalist. And then to England age 10. My mum's English, hence the formative years giving me this accent, which belies my hack and my can have it. Yeah. But
we prefer the one you have.
Right, well, okay. And I've lived in America for the last 28 years or so.
Wow.
And live just down the road currently in South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah, Joe's got difficulties with that. Why don't you go ahead and just get that out of the way?
It's all right. Well, how affiliated to Notre Dame were you down there? Because I'm not a big fan.
Well, I get it. Well, then South Bend's not the place for you.
Okay. You are right.
I think that sums it up all nicely.
It really was
South
a nice
Bend
way.
Is not the place for you.
Tell me to stay the hell out of that place, okay?
They know how you feel about them. They don't want you there.
They feel the same way about me, I think.
They might.
Quite all right.
They might.
Quite all right. So when did music get into your life? When did you start?
Oh, gosh. Well, when we lived in Russia, I have 2 older sisters, and we all took piano lessons. We lived in a European compound where the teacher would come to our house, and I would be third. 2 older sisters, they would go first.
Okay.
And I kind of learned from, their skills and mistakes, and I just never forget this Russian teacher. Her name was Olga. If you look down during sight reading, out would come the ruler, and bang, your wrist would get slapped. It was really hardcore strict stuff. So that's where I started.
Did you hate piano lessons when you were young?
Well, no, it was like, that's how it was. You didn't really sort of question, and my sisters were quite good, better than me, so that was inspiration or a motivation to get to practice a little bit. And then moving to England, I discovered the trumpet. My older sister discovered the French horn, and my middle sister discovered boys, so she gave up music. and her excuse now is that someone has to be in the audience because my sister still plays, and I'm still conducting.
I like that.
Who's a better musician today? You or your playing sister?
There is no question that I look up to my sister. She's still my greatest inspiration. She plays the French horn in a small band called the Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra.
Oh, which you said to me off the air is probably the greatest orchestra working today. Is that correct?
It depends who you ask in the top orchestras, but it's certainly one of the top 5 in the world.
Absolutely.
And I'm biased. I think it's the best.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
And I had asked you off the air because, we do a segment called What's Up Doc, where we talk with healthcare professionals, and we ask people how they got their interest in medicine and all that. And a lot of times it's the family business. Dad was a doctor. Mom was a doctor. Grandfather, this, that, something else. And so I'd asked you off the air, were your parents musical? And I think you gave a pretty good answer to that.
Well, yes. My mother can play a few hymns on the piano, and my dad thought he could sing jazz. But we grew up in a musical family because my dad loved jazz, and the era of Louis Armstrong, Bix Beiderbecke, Ella Fitzgerald was always coming from his office, and George Gershwin he adored. And this musical atmosphere we all grew up in, and is still very much part of my life.
I was going to say, it obviously really spoke to you.
Yeah.
One question I've never asked a conductor: how do you make the transition? When did you make the decision that you wanted to get in front of the or behind the baton? What's the word there?
In front of the orchestra,
Behind the baton.
I like
behind the baton.
Sure, why not? I've never heard that, but I'm going to go with it.
You start a new thing.
You start a podcast with that name.
I'm going to go behind BTTV. There we are. I'll give you all the credit, but not in South Bend.
That's right.
No, they hate him there.
Yeah.
So the short version is that I was playing the trumpet in orchestras and singing in choirs and for various conductors.
Mm-hmm.
And you grow up with you were inspired or you're not inspired. And one day I sang or played for a most inspiring conductor, and it made music jump off the page more. That it was more than just black and white notes on a piece of paper, and music can be life-changing. And it changed my life. And I thought to myself eventually, well, can I influence a piece better from the trumpet chair or from behind the baton? And I made a jump to see if I could help bring aha moments to other orchestras or choirs and audiences, and I really haven't looked back since.
So how do they start? So you're playing the trumpet in a band or orchestra or something? Do you just go up to your current conductor and say, hey,
give me that.
Can I try out the baton? Can I test drive this baton for a second?
You know, there are many ways you can do it. I did that a couple times, actually, but it was when I was at university in England, at Bristol University. I joined a choir, and I didn't realize that it was all student-run, and that the conductor was a mature student, but I thought she was faculty. But I learned that you could audition for this position, and it was every year it was rotating. And so I thought to myself, well, hang on, I'll give this a go. So I basically did an official audition and won the job and lost all my friends because now they had to do what I said. and it was just, I got so much support from the very beginning, and just it's been an incredible ride from there to get to here.
Outstanding.
And you have literally been all over the world just living, but you've also played all over the world as well. You have your own website, which, by the way, if you would like to know what Alastair looks like and all that, go to his website, alastairwillis.com, and right there, but by the way, you actually look like the photos in there.
Oh, wow.
Well, I haven't changed in 10 years then.
We've had people that obviously a little filtering's gone on here. No, you look great in there.
You're so kind.
But, all of the different orchestras that you have played with, Is there a spot on the globe you haven't been that you want to go?
Oh, there are many places I haven't been. I want to conduct in Australia. I've only toured there or visited there on holiday, but there are many places I'd like to go back to. So many great orchestras in Europe. But right now, I'm happily content with where I am with my wife and my daughter as a father and as a husband. Now it's a little different. So the focus is on what's best for us as opposed to for me.
It's not one suitcase any longer.
And I'm so grateful. Well, I have Baton Will Travel, and I still guest conduct around the world, and I love doing that. But the focus is my family and what I can bring to them, and being responsible. Maybe I'm growing up.
No. You don't have to. It's fine. It's fine. What's the best hall you've ever performed or conducted in?
The Coronado.
The look
Coronado,
at this
good
guy.
Answer. Good answer.
Great answer.
Yeah, we're going to put down a positive check on that one. Played the politics right. Okay.
It is a gorgeous space, though, isn't it?
It's really gorgeous. We've been having a great time in rehearsals, and you don't have to go to my website to see what I look like. You could come to the concert on Saturday night.
I think that might be an even better idea.
I'm better in 3D.
Pop more.
The lighting is perfect. Tell us about the concert on Saturday.
Oh my gosh, I am so lucky, not just to be here and be a candidate, but the music that I've been allowed to program and to play is some of my all-time favorite. One of the things that makes me unique is that I've worked with Yo-Yo Ma's Silk Road Ensemble. Musicians from all around the world talk about places that I would love to visit.
Sure.
And they're all individual soloists in their own right. So we're going to start with a piece written by the violinist and and another member called Ascending Bird. It's an Iranian folk song for strings and percussion, and it is just so incredibly energetic about this mythical bird that tries to reach the sun 3 times. There's a groove to it. There's a rhythm and just an energy that is infectious. We continue with a second Silk Road piece. The star tabla player, talk about percussion here, is our soloist, and he's going to play a tabla concerto.
Tabla, right? What is that?
Tabla is an Indian percussion instrument. It's 2 drums, one slightly smaller than the other. Maybe the small one is size of a large grapefruit, and the don't eat it. And the larger one maybe a medium-sized watermelon.
Okay.
And you play it sitting down. It's covered by a skin like a timpani or a bass drum, and you can change the pitch by depressing the top of the skin, and you use your fingers, your wrist, your palm, and it speaks. You might not have heard of the word tabla, but I bet that you and all of your listeners have heard the tabla. It's one of the most versatile percussion instruments. It's in a lot of Bollywood tracks, a lot of film, movie scores. It's there, but you might not know.
Gotcha.
It's just one of those incredible background featured instruments, but it's also a huge instrument in India, of course, and tabla players give solo recitals, and so why not put a star king of the percussion instruments with an orchestra to play a concerto? And the piece is a genius. The composer is Dinuk Gujaratni, and we marvel, our jaws drop at what he has composed and how Sandeep Das, the tabla guru of our age, can do with his fingers on these drums.
It'll be in Rockford on Saturday.
At the Coronado, yes. But the second half, one last piece, is one of my all-time favorite ballets. Well, in fact, in Rockford, the Rockford Dance Company, they're doing Cinderella in the afternoon. That's also by Prokofiev. That's my second favorite ballet. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't make it, but it's great. But we're in the evening, we're doing music from Romeo and Juliet by Prokofiev. So Shakespeare infused, inspired, and some of the greatest music for orchestra ever composed. Highs, lows, emotion, character, tragedy, but it's just heart-wrenching.
You're very passionate about it. And
I was going to say, I can't think of a better pitch for that than we just got there.
And you said you programmed this. Is everything designed by you? Did you start with your tabla player and build around it? How did this come together?
Great question. I often get asked about programming, and it's always a collaborative effort. I don't say I'm going to go somewhere or in South Bend, I'm going to do a program for me. My job is, an orchestra job, is to serve the community. So when I was invited to be a candidate, they said, come up with some ideas, but could you suggest something that is outside of the classical norm? Prokofiev certainly is a well-known composer, and the ballet is well-known, but they asked me to bring some world music or some lighter music, music with a groove, music with interest. And that's where this global first half with a Silk Road connection came about.
I think it's going to be great.
I think it's going to be outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. And the details on it, that is Saturday night, 7:30, pre-concert lecture at 6:30.
That's right.
Do you have to take notes? Will there be a quiz afterwards?
You better, absolutely. But I'll be leaving that with Sandy. So yes.
Okay, just want to make sure on this one. And go to rockfordsymphony.com, rockfordsymphony.com, if you would like to attend this. And why wouldn't you? I have a question for someone like you, symphonies and classical and all that. When you want to rock out, or let's look at it this way. You're someone who eats healthy all the time. When you want to eat some junk, when you want to listen to some junk, what do you listen to?
Queen.
Yeah?
Queen, okay.
Me too. That's part of it.
That's it. Okay.
ELO and Queen are a couple of big go-tos for me.
Go. Yes, indeed.
Awesome. Well, you're by far our favorite conductor candidate we've talked to so far.
Yeah, am I your only one?
Yes.
None.
And I'm your
the others wouldn't have anything to do with us. You were the only one who went, all right. Everybody needs to serve penance at one time or another. I'll go in and sit with those guys.
Yes, might as well. It was fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. And really looking forward to it. What haven't we asked you about you or about music in general that you want people to know?
Oh, gosh, I want people to know that, as I said, I think one of the first things I said, that you have an amazing orchestra here. Go support your orchestra. Go listen to it. Be moved by the power of live orchestral music. And maybe on Saturday, there'll be some aha moments that will be life-changing.
I love it.
It's amazing when music does that to you.
Yeah, it is.
When it pops and it just it hits that chord and you're like, oh, man, I didn't know I had that feeling in me.
Exactly.
You talked about the beauty of the Coronado. I remember seeing Harry Connick Jr. there many years ago, and we had lovely seats, like right up by the orchestra. And he came out and he took a look around and he goes, wow, looks like Satan's basement. And it was one of those that the crowd was a little iffy. There were some laughs, but he came very close to drawing a couple of boos on it, but then ingratiated himself to the crowd very quickly and moved on.
You can try that line Saturday night.
I will not be trying that line Saturday.
Line off. He's Alastair Willis. We're thrilled to meet you. We hope we get to spend some more time with you because this could work out to a deal. You move up here and hang out with us, right?
I'd love it. Thank you.
You're welcome here anytime. Thanks for coming in this morning. Rockford Symphony, rockfordsymphony.com, rockfordsymphony.com to find out more about this concert and all the other great things that wonderful symphony does.